观众朋友，周末傍晚好！正当全球聚焦于新型冠状病毒肺炎第一波疫情何时过去，第二波何时来袭，以及大家也注意到美国黑人乔治·弗洛伊德之死所引发的暴动。但是呢，我们没有忘记，在6月份有一个重要的日子，那就是世界生命斗士日。在这一天，我们要向所有的抗癌勇士表达我们最温暖的关怀，而我们的主办单位365防癌教育协会就连同了 Breast Cancer Foundation、National University Cancer Institute of Singapore， 还有 Icon Cancer Center 为您主办了这样的一个线上保健讲座。我们要特别感谢我们的线上的朋友啊，可能有很多癌症患者是你们所不认识的。但是当我们的消息发出之后呢，你们就踊跃的去分享、去点赞。如果你还没有点赞呢，请这时候就举起你的手，然后呢，搜寻一下我们的这4个主办方和协办方的官方就是社媒网页来点赞，并且继续分享我们的这个视频呢。我们要谢谢这些朋友们，在这段期间，虽然很多人锁在家里头，但是呢，他们都非常的注重自己。就是是否能够就是抗胜癌症，所以也把很多问题提前就发到我们的主办单位，所以我们会在稍后呢给大家做适当的解答。好，今天晚上呢我们要请出的第一位讲员呢，他是来自乳癌基金会的总经理 Samantha， 他姓谢啊。Kindly allow me to mention some of the highlights from her biography. Samantha has spent over 20 years with global consumer brands, holding a variety of senior management roles before moving to the social service sector. At Breast Cancer Foundation, short form BCF, she is spreading the message that breast cancer is not a women's issue, but one that affects society as a whole. To give you a glimpse of what BCF has been doing, would everyone please put your hands together and welcome our GM of BCF, Miss Samantha Xia. Samantha， 欢迎你。好，那我就把时间交给你哦，我去后台准备啦。
Hi, good evening, Carol. I hope all of you are well. I just wanted to share with you that we're very excited to share that, we have so many exciting programs. Breast Cancer Foundation is the only social service agency dedicated to breast cancer in Singapore. The incidence of breast cancer diagnosis has actually tripled in the last 50 years. And as such, this means that more women, along with their families, many of whom are dual income, are affected and therefore require more support. What are our primary focus? The first, of course, is being a champion for early detection. We have 2 programs that's available. One is available at polyclinics. It's free mammogram services for eligible Singaporean women aged 50 years and above with a CHAS blue or orange card. We also have a community memo bus program, and this is where there are memo bus that are deployed across various locations in Singapore, and it's free for first-time Singaporean women aged 40 years and above. Now, on top of that, we want to be a companion for women with breast cancer. We want to make sure that we are able to support the survivors as well as their caregivers in being able to provide them support and knowledge throughout this journey. We have a befrienders program where we have a network of volunteer befrienders survivors of breast cancer who are committed to share their experiences to caregivers and women being diagnosed. And this, we do it online as well as hospital visits when we are allowed to go back into the hospitals. We have support groups, of which we run it monthly. And now we are also online. We have English, Mandarin, a men's support group, as well as a young women's support group. We also have a wig-loan program. Now this is dedicated to those who during their cancer treatment are going to experience hair loss. This program will allow them to enhance their self-confidence as they start this journey. And last but not least, we have a Healing Through the Arts program. This is exclusive to breast cancer ladies, of which we believe that life goes beyond breast cancer. As such, we have shared activities such as sports and arts such as dragon boating, sound therapy, crochet, and ukulele. We want to make sure that this is aimed at rebuilding their physical and mental well-being for short and long-term recovery. So let me pass the mic back to Carol.
非常非常谢谢 Samantha 分享了这么多的活动内容 ，so much of efforts putting into assist and rebuild the cancer patient, and thank you Samantha, for summarizing everything in 3 minutes. 好的，
Yes,
那我来
thank you.
做一段很浓缩的这个通译哦，就是这个 BCF 呢，它其实是提供了相当多种类型的服务，那么主要就是希望能够鼓励这些女性朋友能够早检测、早预防。那么在这些支援计划当中呢，当然是对准社区，还有我们的社区的这些人士。那么在就是各个角落呢，他们都安设了这样的一种检测的地点，特别是41岁的这些首次检测的这些女性呢，是免收费的啊。另外呢，这些前乳癌患者啊，他们康复之后呢，如果乐意的话呢，都能够成为义工来继续提供支援。那每一个月他们都会办不同的活动啊。甚至他们现在也把这个关怀的触觉呢伸向了就是男性社群呢，甚至也包括提供护发服务啊等等之类来增强他们的自信。这些活动还是挺有趣的，除了可能室内的一些绘画活动，也包括甚至户外的划龙舟真的是很特别。好的，紧跟着呢，我们要请出第2位主讲人It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our second speaker, who is going to tell us about the challenges encountered when she was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 32. She has since supported patients through their cancer journeys in her voluntary work with BCF, and she considered herself as a healthy eater before cancer. However, upon diagnosis, she started to doubt everything she puts into her body and became a food police. Today, she believes everything should be taken in moderation. Let us welcome Tricia. Tricia, 你好。
Hi, Carol. Thank you for your introduction.
那把时间交给你咯。
谢谢。All right. Hi, my name is Tricia, and I have been a BCF Breast Cancer Foundation volunteer, a befriender, for the past decade. And today, I'll share with you my experience in my journey with cancer in terms of food. I used to be a very healthy eater, even before diagnosis. I was not overweight. I ate brown rice, I ate steamed stuff, and I still got cancer. So the moment I was told I have cancer, I started doubting everything I ate. Was it because I drank too much milk? Was it the chicken I ate? Was it this? Was it that? And I was very upset. So I started stopping dairy products, seafood, chicken. I limit my soy products, and I ate more organics, vegetables, as well as juicing. I also became to eat more plain kind of food, literally just blanching my vegetables. And I became a food police too. In a way, I get angry when my family members are eating something that's not healthy, like fried stuff, or my children eating a lot of candies. I get angry at that. So basically, I'm not a fun person to go and eat out with. And also during that time, during the cancer treatment time, I realized that I'm very desperate for a cure. I was so desperate times brings desperate measure. I find myself spending thousands of dollars buying things, whichever people say is good for cancer, I will buy it, like 灵芝孢子粉, $1,000 to buy alkaline water. And I even eat like things like donkey skin in the TCM medicine and a lot of leaves. I remember Sabah snake plant and 2 years later, I had a relapse and I was angry. I did so much and yet I had a relapse. So I started questioning everything that I've been doing. And I realized that it's actually not very healthy for me to be all stressed about what I eat. So I started observing what long-term survivors eat. They eat anything, basically. I see them eating happily, enjoying their food. And I want to be an educated eater. I want to know why we want to avoid the food. Why no soya milk? Is it really no soya milk? Or what? And what is good for us, right? What is good for our immunity? And I learned about that. I learned that the food actually plays an important but a small role in our overall cancer recovery. And there are other aspects that we need to pay attention to, such as our emotional, as well as our mental well-being, right? So today I want to share my little takeaway, the 3 takeaways. So one is to learn how to read labels. So before we buy anything, learn how to read it. 学会看食品标签. Are they nutritious? Is it worth eating? So does low fat, no fat, low sugar, does that automatically mean they're healthy? What are the chemicals in those food that we're eating, right? And secondly, it's mindful eating. Before we eat and put anything in our mouth, I would like to ask, is it fresh? Is this freshly prepared? How do they prepare this food? Is it deep fried? Is it steamed? Is it, cooked in high heat, right? And how much have I eaten today? Did I eat a lot of sugary stuff today? Or did I eat anything healthy? Did I have greens? So those are things that I'll ask myself when I eat, right? So I'll go for quality versus quantity. 吃精不吃量. And the third thing is moderation is key, right? So we want to know that anything is too good of a good thing is not good, right? So for example, like lentils, they are supposed to be good for our body, but if we eat too much, we'll get gout. So things like durian, right? Right now it's durian season. It doesn't mean that before I would say no, totally no durian, even though I really, really want to eat it. But now I will have durian, but I will have the good ones. I won't have it often, but I will have a few. And a lot of times I use sample sizes. So I don't eat a lot. I'll eat like sample sizes and things like char kway teow, the seafood food. I will keep it for when I go to Penang, for example. When it's really, really worth my effort to eat it, then I will eat it. So I don't use it like, I don't waste my limited time, right? Eating things that is not worth it. So basically eating well is being able to eat almost anything in moderation, right? It's not that saying that this food is bad or that food can cause cancer. It's about enjoying the food and understanding it in a way that it allows us to make a good choice. So making a good choice is important. So I'm sure that Samantha is going to share a lot more tips that you can learn. And I'll be very happy to answer any question later in the Facebook chats. And over to you, Carol. Thank you.
好的，非常谢谢 Tricia， 这样下次我可以约你去吃榴莲了。Oh, it was a wonderful speech given by Tricia, which we have just witnessed. Okay, 他所讲的主要的内容就是呢，在患癌之前，其实他是非常注重健康的，他都选择健康食物来吃。但是患癌之后，以及再次复发呢，他就发现为什么周围的这些康复者他们都什么都吃都那么健康，但是他呢，明明也花了很多钱，甚至连昂贵的中药材啊，包括什么蛇舌草、灵芝孢子粉啊，他都一掷千金的去购买，结果他还是得病了。在这之后呢，他自己严格管制自己的嘴巴，同时呢，他也成为家里的警员来监视家人糖果啊、煎炸的食物啊都不准吃。那么他现在呢，非常注重他的饮食，就是高温、高糖或者是就是不太健康的东西，他都避而远之，常常会去自省哦。而且他也有几个心得要跟在线的朋友们来分享，那就是尽量选择新鲜的食物，而且注重品质。那么在购买的时候呢，注意包装上的这些成分说明啊，并且当然是要很适量的，贵精不贵多啊。那么 Trisha 跟 Samantha 啊，他们并没有离开我们的舞台，在我们的舞台上呢，他接着会到 Facebook 的平台上跟你们继续来互动。所以，请 Facebook 在线的朋友，你们可以发问题请教他们，看怎么走过这段抗癌的历程，从他们那边偷一些师，好不好？好的，在疫情期间，其实我们看到社媒上出现了很多宅在家的大主厨哦。那你没有发现他们的这个 po 上网的照片呢，不只是色香味，都注入了健康的元素。每个人都很注重健康，亚健康不是我们要的，慢性病、癌症更是我们最想躲开的。可是怎么样吃才能够有效的抗癌呢？今天我们就请到了365防癌教育协会的营养饮食部专业营养师蔡桂妮。他以多年累积的经验服侍这些癌患者将给大家客观的陈述，怎么样吃才能够战胜癌症。We are both honored and fortunate tonight to have a prominent industry professional who is the dietitian of the 365 Cancer Prevention Society, taking good care of cancer fighters at the Nutrition and Dietetics Department. She's also a Bachelor of Science Honors Degree achiever, member of Singapore Nutrition and Dietitian Association, sharing with us this evening on what's best to eat to beat cancer. Please put our hands together and welcome Miss Stephanie Chua. 你好
Thank you, Carol. Good
你好
evening.
很长的一串介绍，现在轮到你了。
Okay, thank you, Carol. Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. So it is my pleasure to share with you all today on what's best to eat to beat cancer. Now, I think a lot of times we do receive these kind of questions from cancer survivors after completing treatment. They are a bit confused and they come and ask to us, does it mean that after this I can eat anything I want? Do I still have to eat like how I eat during treatment? Or does it mean that I have to follow a very restrictive diet? Now, the good news is that you don't have to follow an overly restrictive diet. Most importantly, we are just basing on our nutritional guidelines for cancer survivors. So most importantly, under the guidelines is just to follow back a healthy and well-balanced diet and to practice moderation and to fill your diet with a variety of cancer-fighting nutrients. So you will realize that the diet for cancer survivors is quite similar to the diet for cancer prevention, which aims to reduce the risk of recurrence and to protect against cancer. But there are small differences here and there, which we will elaborate further on that. Okay, so maybe I just share one. This is a World Cancer Research Guidelines. Okay, I'm just gonna share screen. Okay, so as you can see here, this is one of the most updated and complete guidelines for diet and cancer, and it did mention that point number 10. Even after a cancer diagnosis, we do recommend you to follow the healthy recommendations of a well-balanced diet as much as possible. Okay. So now I'm going to explain what's best to eat to beat cancer by putting it all into our plate. So I think this is easier for us to visualize. So if you have a plate, try to always achieve balance. That means to say 1/4 of the plate is meant for protein or meat, 1/4 of the plate is meant for carbohydrate or whole grains, and half of the plate is meant for fruits and vegetables. Now, if you can achieve this, it's very good. Okay, that means to say you have a well-balanced diet, right? Okay, so I think I'm going to explain each of the category now. Yeah, I'm going to start with a smoked meat. Okay, so for cancer survivors, it is recommended that we avoid or to limit this processed meat, okay, as minimal as possible. Secondly, we're going to touch on a red meat. So red meat, there is strong evidence that red meat increases the risk of the colorectal cancer. So red meat is a mammalian muscle meat that includes some of the examples like a beef, pork, lamb, goat, veal, venison. So for cancer survivors, you do not have to completely avoid eating red meat. You can still have, but the recommendation is to limit it to not more than 3 servings per week. Or if you want to weigh by gram, it's around 350 to 500 grams per week. right? Moving on, already knowing that processed meat contains this carcinogen known as nitrates or nitrosamine. The way you cook your red meat and processed meat may also increase the carcinogens. For example, if you barbecue it or you char grill it, there is a direct heat, direct contact to a very high temperature. It may release another type of carcinogen, short form known as HAC. But if you smoke it, and if the red meat or processed meat is encapsulated with the smoke, there is another carcinogen. It is known as PAC. Okay, so just in terms of meat, just try to reduce processed meat and red meat. And the cooking method, you may want to reduce the char grill or barbecued meat, and you can go for the other protein choices. What other protein choices that we have? We still have plenty of choices like fish. Fish is still a very good choice. Recommended to have at least twice a week minimum, twice a week, rich in omega-3, good for your heart health. Chicken is absolutely no issue, but do remember to choose the lean portion, not the fatty portion. We can still have eggs, soy products, legumes, beans, pulses, chickpeas, lentils, skein tofu, edamame, yogurt, milk, soy, all this we can have. Okay, so just a gentle reminder that as for cancer survivors, we do have a higher protein requirement. During treatment, you need a very high protein requirement, about 1.2 to 1.6 of your body weight. But let's say if your treatment has already completed, we do recommend a protein intake of 1 to 1.2 of your kilograms body weight. But in general, we'll still try to keep it at 1.2. Now, why so much emphasis on the protein intake is because proteins is actually the building blocks of our body. And after completing treatment, we also want a lot of this protein to help with our healing, repair, and recovery. We want to preserve our lean body mass, and we want to prevent cancer malnutrition. We want to strengthen our immunity and fight infection, promote wound healing, improve recovery after surgery, and also the synthesis of red blood cells, enzymes, tissues, and antibodies. So with that, so many functions of protein, that is a reason why most of the dietetics guidelines for cancer survivors, there is a slightly higher protein requirement, okay? So I've covered the 1/4 of the plate, which is for protein and meat. Moving on, we will discuss about the next group, which is 1/4 for the carbohydrates or whole grain, right? So for the carbohydrate and whole grain, let's say if you have recently have a colorectal surgery, for cancer survivors after colorectal surgery, then you don't have to worry. Don't force yourself to go for a high fiber whole grains. Just have a normal white rice, white bread, just refined carbohydrate is okay. Or if you're suffering from diarrhea from treatment, then just a low fiber diet will be okay. But for the rest of the cancer survivors, you are encouraged to have more whole grains in your diet. Okay, so why is whole grains more superior than refined carbohydrate? Refined carbohydrate basically is just plain starch. It's just plain carbohydrate. But whole grains with the bran and the germ intact, it is very nutrient packed with B vitamins, vitamin E, antioxidants, phytochemicals, dietary fiber, and even a bit of a healthy fats. So whole grains is far more superior in terms of a nutritional content. So yeah, once in a while, you can go ahead and have some unpolished rice, may it be red rice, brown rice, wholemeal bread, oats, buckwheat, millet, rye, barley. Okay, maybe sometimes you can have a chapati or some wholemeal wraps. So these are all the sources of whole grains. Now, the dietary fiber requirement for cancer survivors for women is about 20 grams. For men, is about 26 grams. So dietary fiber is one of the cancer fighting nutrient, and it protects against cancer. How does it help? Basically, the fiber it functions like the fiber provides bulk, and if there are any potential carcinogens or toxin in your gut, the dietary fiber actually binds to it, dilute it, inactivate it, and speed the transit throughout colon to just to clear it out of your body. So basically, the dietary fiber is more like you can call it a broom or a vacuum cleaner. Okay, so moving on, just now we have covered the quarter plate of a protein, quarter plate of the carbohydrate or whole grains. The half of the plate is meant for the fruits and vegetables. Maybe some of you may be asking, are there any fruits and vegetables that we should avoid? So for fruits, if you are having any oral chemotherapy drug or any other hormonal drugs, your doctor, your oncologist or pharmacist may advise you not to take grapefruit, because not that it's bad, but because the grapefruit is known to interact with many medicine, right? It will interact with your liver enzymes. So if any medicine that you are taking, it will either increase the dosage to make your side effects worse, or either it will reduce your dosage. So just be careful on that. If you are taking any drugs, just be aware of the contraindication. Are there any vegetables that we should avoid? For cancer survivors, it is recommended we reduce our intake of salt-preserved vegetables. And if possible, try to choose fresh vegetables whenever possible, right? So for the half of the plate, you are encouraged to eat a rainbow every day. Fill up half of your plate with a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables. Maybe you have heard this many times already. Every time you see a dietitian, she'll tell you, oh, eat more fruits and vegetables. But what is it really inside that we want from the fruits and vegetables? So actually, it's because these fruits and vegetables are very rich in cancer-fighting nutrients like antioxidants, phytochemicals, vitamins, minerals, and dietary fiber. Okay, so I'm just going to explain a little bit about antioxidants and free radical damage. So like throughout your life, maybe you are exposed to a lot of pollutants, toxins, carcinogens, smoke, alcohol, or char-grilled food. So these will release free radicals that may damage your cell. Okay, this may increase your risk for cancer. So antioxidants, which are naturally occurring from food, they will counteract with these free radicals. They neutralize it and remove these free radicals, right? Which is why we encourage you to eat a rainbow. So when you eat a variety of colors of fruits and vegetables, you get all this full spectrum of antioxidants and phytochemicals. So World Cancer Research Guidelines World Cancer Research Guideline number 3, it recommends us to eat a diet filled with a variety of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and beans, because it helps to lower the risk for many cancers, especially cancers of the digestive tract and lung cancer, right? So how much fruits and vegetables should we have? So for Singapore Dietary Guidelines is 2+2, but many of the international guidelines, they recommend 2+3. So maybe 2 fruit and 3 vegetables, and that you will have your eat 5 fruits and veg a day. So try to aim for very different colors. A lot of people may be thinking, oh, should I eat like 5 green a day, 5 purple a day? Try not to just focus on one, but to have a variety. Most importantly is the total intake of fruits and vegetables and the variety that you are taking. Now, I'm going to just share with you some of the cancer-fighting food that has been listed by the American Institute of Cancer Research. Okay, I'm just gonna wait. Let me share screen. Right. Okay. Can you see? Okay. So here we have all the cancer-fighting food. Listed here will be apple, blueberries, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, cherry. I'm just gonna you can just see from here, yeah. Okay, so maybe after looking at this food, you find one of your, okay, maybe you see that, oh, I like to eat cherry, and cherry, oh, I can fight cancer. Maybe after this, you are thinking, tomorrow breakfast, I'm gonna eat cherry. Lunch, I'm gonna eat cherry. Dinner, I'm gonna eat cherry. Do you think that by eating this, you can fight cancer? Actually, no, right? Okay, so don't just focus on one food, but remember that not to focus on a single food. No single food can help you to fight cancer by alone. So you still need a variety, and what we need are the synergy of compounds that offer you the strongest cancer protection. Okay, so if you have a healthy plate, you fill it up with whole grains, okay, or pumpkin. And for the protein part, go for fish and tofu, not so much on the processed meat, red meat, yeah, and fill up half of the plate with fruits and vegetables. And there you have a very nice, well-balanced diet full of cancer-fighting nutrients. Okay, so after covering the food part, we move on to the beverages, yeah. Okay, are there any beverages that we should avoid? I think you have heard about this before. Alcohol has been linked to increased risk for many primary cancers, including cancer of the colorectal, breast, liver, mouth, pharynx, larynx, esophagus, and stomach. So for cancer survivors, it is best to avoid alcohol or as minimal as possible. Also, we are encouraged to avoid drinks that are very high in sugar. So they do not bring any nutrient, they just give plain sugar. Is not a very healthy choice. So putting alcohol and sweet beverages aside, what are some of the beverages that we can have? We can have, of course, we can have plain water as long as it is clean. Don't worry about whether it's mineral or distilled. Yeah, and you can have some of the unsweetened drinks. Okay, you can enjoy coffee and tea in moderation. So there is strong evidence to show that coffee may be protective against liver and endometrial cancer, regardless of whether it is caffeinated or decaf. So you may want to include coffee and tea in your diet in moderation, but just don't need to add sugar, or probably just low sugar. And you can have unsweetened soy milk, and you can have low fat, high calcium milk, probably 1 to 2 servings a day for your very good source of calcium. And you can have other drinks like barley water, chrysanthemum water. So these are some of the beverage choices that we do encourage. Okay, so I'm just going to share another slide here. Okay. Okay, share this just to summarize regarding the food and drink that we have covered just now. Okay, so basically for cancer survivors, what do we need to avoid or limit? Is just to avoid or limit the processed meat, char-grilled barbecued food. Okay, avoid alcohol. For red meat you can have, but just limit to not more than 3 servings per week. Okay, try to reduce the salt preserved food, and try to limit the excessive intake of salt, sugar, or oily food. On the other hand, what you're encouraged to have more will be the fruits, 2 servings a day, vegetables, 2 up to 3 servings a day. Protein is very important. Calcium, yes, 800 to 1000 milligram per day, and whole grains 1 to 3 servings per day. So this basically sums up our recommendations for cancer survivors in terms of the dietary perspective. Okay. Okay, so going back, okay, so I've covered most of it regarding our food and drink. I'm just going to touch on 3 more things. Number 1 is the weight. Number 2 is exercise. Number 3 is the supplements. So for weight, it will be good to achieve your healthy BMI of about 18.5 to 22.9. Okay, so if let's say if you feel that if you know that you're overweight or obesity, we do encourage you to gradually reduce your weight and achieve the healthy BMI, because that's where your risk of recurrence will be the lowest. And if let's say after treatment you have lost a lot of weight and you are underweight, we also do encourage you to catch up on your weight by having a high protein diet plus healthy fats to catch up on your weight and reach the healthy BMI, because that's where your outcome, your survival rate will be the best. Okay, so we want to improve your outcome. Okay, and exercise, I'm just going to touch on a bit. The recommendation for cancer survivors in terms of exercise, that will be a minimum of 150 minutes per week plus strengthening exercise of 2 times per week, and this has been shown to be protective against many cancer. And lastly, I'm just going to touch a bit on supplements. So just try to remember that food are the best source of your nutrients. So try your best to meet your nutritional needs through food and diet. Unless there is a specific concern, you have a specific deficiency. For example, if maybe some of our cancer survivors, they are on hormonal therapy, the side effect is bone mineral loss. So the oncologist will prescribe for them calcium and vitamin D. So there is a specific need there, so it's okay. Other than that, if you don't have a special need, then it is not necessary to go to the shopping mall and buy a lot of supplements, because we don't try we don't want to depend on supplements because there is no scientific evidence to say that the more supplements you have, the better it is to fight cancer. There is no such evidence. So so in fact, the World Cancer Research Guidelines, point number 8, it did mention do not depend on supplements for cancer prevention because it is not necessarily the more is better. In fact, some of the supplements may increase your cancer risk. For example, the beta carotene and lung cancer. Okay, so that one is already proven that you will increase risk. So you have to avoid that. So bottom line is, before incorporating any supplements in your diet, do discuss with your healthcare provider. So I'm just going to show my last slide. Okay. Right. So this is the nutrition and physical activity guidelines for cancer survivor. Okay. So nutrition from American Cancer Society. So it's a very complete report, complete guideline, but to sum it up to 3 main points. Number 1, very important, is to achieve and maintain a healthy weight. Number 2 is to remember to have your physical activity and exercise for 150 minutes per week. And number 3, do remember to eat a diet that is a variety of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, and plant-based food. And with that, I've come to the end of my presentation. And I would like to pass the time back to our beautiful MC, Miss Carol.
Thank you, Stephanie. 谢谢你哦，蔡君妮。哇，今天第一次听到你的讲座，我想你刚才提到的那些健康蔬果，可能明天超市都会卖断呢。因为你刚才那个照片图文并茂出来之后，我相信很多朋友都很有兴趣，结果点击率就很高，而且很多人一直在发问题。I believe many of us were listening intently to Stephanie's speech and on how to eat wisely. Hope you have captured a valuable piece of advice from her. 好的，现在我们就来稍微浓缩一下她刚才所说的，就是总是这样的谆的教诲，希望大家能够吃的很均衡、很有营养的餐食。当然不必太严苛哦。不过加工食品啊、煎炸烧烤啊、烟熏啊，或者是腌制的食品，真的是能避就避哦。当然桂妮她刚才也特别把这个营养的比例啊。这个是我们在很多讲座里面可能很少听到，就是营养的比例是多少对多少，我们应该是注意的哈。所以吃对、吃够、吃到你细胞要的才是关键哦。而且他也提到说纤维很重要，如同吸尘机，当然要选择新鲜多彩的蔬果，就是把彩虹放进你的生命里面了。而且要有自由基，要抗自由基，所以要吃抗氧化的这些食品啊。当然他也把这些抗癌的好吃的食物刚才也列举出来了，所以如果你有注意看的话，你可以记在心里。如果没有，等一下，您或你的朋友都可以在网上再继续看重播的。另外他也提到酒应该避免，还有就是要多运动啊，也要注意自己的体重等等啊。好的，这是他所谈到的一些重点。我们在讲座之前跟现在呢，一直不停的接到很多的询问哈，好不好？我们现在就进入答问的时间，桂妮。
好，
可以哈，好的。OK， 首先有一个问题就是问糖会致癌吗？请问癌患者可以吃甜食，好像蜂蜜、冰淇淋、蛋糕吗
？Yeah, thank you for the question. 这个是 this is one of the top most frequently asked question of all time. Does sugar cause cancer? But actually, there is no scientific evidence to say that sugar can directly cause cancer. There is no evidence to say that by eating sugar, it will cause cancer. And there is also no evidence to say that if I avoid sugar, the cancer cells will shrink and disappear. There is actually not really such thing. So just to explain briefly, because in our body, all our healthy cells, regardless of healthy cells and cancer cells, they all require energy. And this energy comes from glucose, sugar. Yeah, but even if you don't take sugar, carbohydrate will still turn into sugar. And even if you don't take carbohydrate, your body will start breaking down your protein and fat in order to make sugar to supply energy to all your cells. But we cannot really control which cells will use this sugar or not. It's not really within our control. So cancer survivors do not do not have to completely avoid sugar, but it will be good to keep it at a minimal. So the guideline is that because if you have a high sugar diet, if you have excessive intake of sugar, this may lead to obesity, overweight, obesity, and diabetes, and this may indirectly increase your cancer risk. So there is no direct cost. 它不是一个 it's not a direct cost, but it's more like a indirectly increase your risk. So just maintain your sugar intake low. Recommendation from WHO, 25 to 30 grams per day, not more than that. Yeah, but for cancer survivors, once in a while you want to have cake or whatever, you can have, but just control the amount. Just remember, practice moderation, right? Okay.
好的，谢谢你。所以糖呢，它并不是直接的导因，不过间接的，它可能会产生一点的影响哦。重要的就是要适量。我们的 Facebook 朋友 Angeline Chua 他问啊 ，Many say soy is no good, especially those with hormone positive receptors. Is this true? 是真的吗？豆类食品并不是那么好。
Okay, so actually this is not true. Soy food is actually very safe for breast cancer patients. If you look at breastcancer.org, if you look up at oncology dietetics, most of the international cancer research and guidelines state that it is safe for breast cancer patients to take soy food. I think the fear comes from knowing that soy contains this isoflavone, which is known as a plant estrogen. So maybe they see the word estrogen and they are very scared. But actually, this plant estrogen is very different. The structure is very different from our human estrogen. It cannot change into our human estrogen. So there are no harmful effects. It does not increase cancer growth. So breast cancer patients do not need to avoid soy. And so most of the studies in Asian population, like in China and Japan, the studies have shown that it is safe to eat even up to 3 servings of soy food per day. And I would also like to share with you some of the emerging research in Japan particular. So the Japanese women, after having breast cancer, they still continue to eat like tofu, edamame, because this is like their common food. And they found that there is no harmful effect, but there is a decrease in the breast cancer risk, recurrence risk. So this is some of the emerging studies lately that soy may actually decrease the risk of breast cancer recurrence. So you can look it up at breastcancer.org. Safe to consume soy food.
是的，所以其实植物激素跟动物激素呢是两码子事啊，所以不用担心。然后其实专家也告诉我们，可能要吃3份的豆类餐食啊，在每一天的饮食里面。那么也发现这个日本的乳癌女性患者呢，她们多吃豆腐或者豆类食品的时候，反而能够降低患癌的风险啊。我们现在还有一个问题呢，就是癌症患者可以喝牛奶之类的产品，比如说某一些牌子1字头的这个乳类产品吗？
Okay, so in general, these you are talking about like milk powder, oral nutrition supplement. Yes, cancer patients are allowed to take, and you will need them, especially if, let's say, you have a very very poor appetite, poor oral intake, you are underweight, you are malnourished. That's when you might want to consider to have this to supplement your dietary intake. So but do consult your dietitian in terms of which product is more suitable for you, because they may have a little bit of difference. Yeah.
是，所以要请示个别的营养师，什么样的乳类饮品或者是蛋白饮品是适合癌症患者的啊？还有一位脸书朋友呢，他刚才听到你讲到这个酒，可能他有喝酒吧。Is wine in the alcohol category? Asked by Huishan Sheikh.
Sorry, again.
他问说酒是不是在酒精的种类里面 ？Is wine in the alcohol category?
Wine is, yeah, correct. Wine is considered an alcohol category. Yes.
所以是所以是，所以也是不能够过量，也是要少喝了哈。
Yeah, try to minimize 啦。
还有多一位脸书朋友问说 ，Is it advisable to take fruits before other food？ 就先吃水果，再吃东西，吃食物。是这样吗？应该这么做吗？
Actually, for cancer patients, is not really there's no really a recommendation to eat before or after. But like, let's say if you have underlying diabetes and all that, then we will recommend that you separate your fruit intake, not together with your main meal, so as not to load too much carbohydrate at the same time. But for cancer patients, I think that it's not so restrictive.
所以对于癌患者当然就是也不要吃的，就是水果也不能太偏甜呢，是这个意思吗？
For fruits, we are recommended to have 2 servings a day. So 2 servings is considered okay, but try not to have like 4 or 5 servings a day. Then the refined sugar may be a bit too much for the entire day.
过量这个糖分就会太高了哈。好，还有一个问题是我们早前接到的，就是 Is it true by taking just vegetables and fruits alone without meat at all will cure cancer? 哇，这很有趣。I came across a Western countryman telling us that cancer patients and survivors need to take lots of veg and fruits for 2 years daily to kill cancer cells without meat. Strictly no meat and processed food. 哇，不吃肉就会康复，是这样吗？
I don't think it is like so miraculously to kill cancer cells or to like cure it. But these practices, like if you do limit red meat and processed meat, these are good. This is a healthy practice, and you do have high consumption of vegetable fruits. This is also a very good healthy practice. But my concern is that try not to practice a very extreme diet to say that, oh, I only eat fruits and vegetables and nothing else, because there is no need to cut out the other healthy nutrients from your diet. For example, you still need whole grains, you still need protein from the fish, from tofu, eggs, beans, pulses, whole grains. So these are still very healthy food that you can still incorporate. So try not to overdo it. Try not to just eat fruits and vegetables and ignore the other food groups. As I've emphasized many times just now, a healthy, well-balanced diet is important for you to provide the complete nutrition.
是的，均衡营养很重要，宏观的营养我们也要，微观的营养我们也是要吃进身体啊。然后在这里呢，我们要特别提醒，就是365防癌教育协会呢，其实也为高血糖的这个癌患者呢提供免费的咨询啊，所以你们可以有空的时候拨热线去询问一下。那么脸书还有2个很有趣的问题，就是 Can we have 3-in-1 coffee once a day? Can cancer survivors eat kimchi? 我把这个就结合在一起，请桂妮来回答。
Okay, so for 3-in-1 beverages, you can have, but it's not really a ideal option, because remember that the creamer and sugar content in the coffee is actually very high. So what I would suggest is maybe you can have just black coffee, but if you want, you can use your own low-fat milk. You substitute the creamer, because the creamer is actually trans fat. So I would suggest that you can substitute the creamer with low-fat milk or unsweetened soy milk. As for the sugar, we can adjust by ourselves. Maybe if you prepare at home, you can adjust the sugar level, or maybe if not, you can substitute with stevia or monk fruit sweetener. These are natural sweeteners that does not contain any sugar. Yeah, so that's about 3-in-1. You can have, but it's not a really healthy option. And secondly, regarding kimchi, is that so kimchi is there are good and there are bad. So the good thing about kimchi is that it is fermented and is very rich in probiotics. But be aware, because a lot of times these pickled vegetables, they are also very high in salt. So for cancer survivors, if you want to have kimchi, yes, you can have, but just remember to control your amount, because the sodium content is very high. Just control the amount.
好的，所以就是浓缩一下哈，总结一下，就是说这个咖啡可以喝3合1，但是呢要用低脂牛奶来取代，因为担心呢这个咖啡粉3合1的咖啡粉里面有反式脂肪，这对身体是有害的。然后呢，韩国的腌菜呢不是不能吃哦，但当然它能够制造一些益生菌，但是同时的它含有很高的盐分哦，吃太多对身体也是不好的。那么从这2个问题，我们要延伸到早前接到的这个问题，就是 Is there certain foods that should be avoided after completion of surgery for third-stage colon cancer and chemotherapy? 第3期结癌手术化疗过后，是不是应该避免某一些食品？
Okay, so if let's say you have a recent colorectal surgery, then you will be advised to follow a low fiber, low residue diet for about 6 to 8 weeks, or make it around 2 months. The reason why we advise you to be on a low fiber diet is because you have a surgical wound in your colon, so bowel output may be painful for you. So the aim here is to reduce the size of your bowel output, and also to reduce the frequency of your bowel output. So for low fiber diet, you are encouraged to avoid the high fiber food like whole grains, wholemeal bread. Avoid those very rough food like maybe popcorn, nuts, seed, grated coconut, dried fruits, dried figs, dates, or some of the very high fiber vegetables and the skin and seeds of fruits. It's probably not a good time to have a passion fruit because it's full of seeds. So yeah, in summary, for if you have a recent colorectal surgery, so just avoid these very fibrous or rough food, but just go for the very low fiber, low residue, softer food that is easier for you to digest. Yeah.
是的，桂妮就解释说，在完成这个手术之后呢，如果吃高纤维的食品，特别是纤维粗硬的这些食品，那刚才举了一些例子啊，那就会造成肠道呢过度的蠕动，这是会造成很大的疼痛。那为了减缓这种痛楚呢，最好就避开这些食物，而选择一些软细纤维的食品会比较适合，对吧？好的，脸书上的朋友啊，他们非常踊跃的提问 ，OK， 我们要把握时间啊，就是他问说，等一下哈，或者我等一下再回到脸书上哈，给我1分钟啊。好的，西洋菜跟海参以及燕窝1个月可以吃多少次？哇，这个应该是蛮富裕的。Yuki Wong 询问的，西洋菜、海参、燕窝1个月可以吃多少次？
西洋菜应该没问题吧？就蔬菜方面，你可以自由的轮流啦，没有问题啦。
海参、燕窝，
海参、
燕窝，
海参燕窝，okay, so this sea cucumber and bird's nest, you can have in moderation because to sea cucumber and bird's nest, basically the content is just majority protein, so you can eat it as part of your protein source. If we have a healthy plate, so if you are taking bird's nest or sea cucumber, that's basically the protein part of your diet. Yeah, so I don't have a specific number that you can eat in a month, but these are okay food for you to
可以吃
as part of your balanced diet. Yeah.
可以吃啊，就多买的话，可能口袋就破洞了啊。好，我看到脸书有个朋友 BT 你好哦，好像我做直播你都常常有锁定哦。你问了一个问题，就是 What's the difference between whole grain and wholemeal？ 这两者有何不同？Whole grain and wholemeal.
Whole grain, wholemeal, 这个 depends on the country. In some countries, the whole grain, wholemeal basically means the same thing. But in certain countries, like probably in the US, they will give like maybe different categorization. The whole grain is like the entire grain, but wholemeal is like maybe the bread is a refined bread, but they add on a bit of the wheat germ, that kind. They call it a wholemeal. Yeah, but both are good options. Both are good options. Both have nutrients and fiber. Both are good options.
是的啊，所以在不同国家对于全谷和全麦的这个定义是不同的啊，可能有的有添加了一点其他的材料在里面啊，但是这两者其实都是属于健康食品，对吗？刚才你一直在演讲当中强调蔬果的重要性啊，那么这边呢有一个朋友啊，他就说现在我们所买的这些蔬菜水果很多都是有农药嘛，那要怎么样避免吃进太多的农药呢？为了预防防腐，为了放在市场上有漂亮的颜色吸引顾客，这是无可避免的，是怎么样避免这个农药吃进肚子呢？
Okay. So I think a lot of people are concerned about the pesticides, but actually by the time these pesticides may be harmful to the farmers who are dealing with the pesticides daily. But when it comes to the supermarket, actually the level of pesticide is already very low. And if we follow the Singapore National Environmental Agency recommendations on removing pesticides, they suggest that you wash fruits and vegetables thoroughly under running water and then soak for like 10 to 15 minutes. You do not need to use any special detergent or a special vegetable sanitizer because it's not proven to be more superior. So after soaking for 10 to 15 minutes, before using it for cooking, you rinse one more time again, and this is able to remove a significant portion of pesticides according to NEA.
是的，不用特别使用蔬果清洗剂，那么只要在这个水喉底下用水冲洗就可以了啊，就是按照国际的标准。安奎香他问你，牛奶的饮品当他喝之后呢，有时候会泻肚子，怎么样减轻这个症状？看来他是有乳糖不耐症啊，他应该怎么样减轻这个症状呢？
So if you have diarrhea after milk, most likely you have a lactose intolerance. So maybe you can just substitute the milk with soy milk or almond milk or just any other non-milk based milk. Yeah. So otherwise you can have some people tend to tolerate yogurt much better than milk because yogurt after the lactose content is treated by lactase, so it will not trigger so much of diarrhea. Yeah, basically it's just to reduce and substitute it with something else if you really do have lactose intolerance.
所以吃 yogurt 可能是一个更好的选择啦，是这样子哦。
yogurt 的话，它的 lactose 通常都没有像 milk 这样高，然后或者的话就直接换成 soy milk 就完全没有 lactose。
豆奶就更理想啊。好的，然后 Lin Xin Li 呢，他问了一个问题啊，在就是转述他的问题之前呢，要提醒大家哦。365防癌教育协会呢，其实也为癌患者提供营养饮食咨询的服务，所以呢，在这节目结束之后呢，他们也非常欢迎你们打热线电话进去询问的。Is roasted eel a healthy fish？ 鳗鱼是健康的鱼吗？鳗鱼
roasted
unagi
unagi, yeah, you can have no issues, yeah. It's not considered omega-3 fish, but it's just a normal eel. You can have no issues. It's not linked to any cancer risk.
我想他的意思是说，因为这个鳗鱼通常是烤的嘛，就是渔夫捕上来为了保鲜，先烤了，然后真空包装，所以它是烤的，所以这个是健康的嘛。
Depends if you just use an oven baked roast is okay, but just as long as it's not like very smoky or if there's any black or burnt part, then the more blackened or more burnt it is, then there may be a little bit of carcinogens in it. But let's say if you're just using a normal oven to bake or grill, it's still pretty fine.
就是要避免就是烟熏或者焦黑的这些部位出现啊。好的，我们还有1分钟的时间哈，最后的这个问题好不好？Is it true that taking too much of antioxidant food can counter the effectiveness of chemotherapy？ 就是反而会减弱了这个化疗的效果，如果吃太多抗氧化食品的话。
Okay, so with our current guidelines, so far the naturally occurring antioxidants from food is all considered very safe. According to our research, from food is very safe. But during treatment, try to avoid high dosage of antioxidant supplements. Yeah, that is a different thing because the dosage is very high and it's from supplements. But from food, it's still okay. You don't really have to go and count it. It's good to have this variety of antioxidants from your fruits and vegetables.
所以鼓吹自然饮食的这个桂妮，她其实告诉大家说，天然的这个抗氧食物是没有问题的。但是有些保健品呢，可能含过量的抗氧化浓缩成分啊，那就可能会阻碍化疗的这个改善进程。好的，非常谢谢大家提出那么多的问题哦，我们还有很多问题还没有回答，来不及解答的呢，我们会交由365防癌教育协会、Icon Cancer Center 还有 NCIS 以及 BCF 呢 来在后台帮我们一一的跟进处理，好吗？谢谢你，桂妮，哇，辛苦你了哦，准备这么棒的讲座哦。We have a terrific time on this live program。那么再次要提醒大家，节目结束之后呢，也不要忘记去我们的4个官方社媒粉丝页来点赞哦。那就是我们的今天讲座的主办单位365防癌教育协会以及协办的单位Breast Cancer Foundation、National University Cancer Institute Singapore、Icon Cancer Center。那么也要提醒大家，在下个星期6月20号，我们还有一场非常精彩的健康讲座，也是在线上举行的，请到的是365防癌教育协会社会心理服务部主管郭凯丽啊，她是我的好朋友啊，所以我每次叫她凯丽。那么她在下星期呢，将通过这个心理建设给我们的癌患者，甚至也延伸到他们的这些在照顾癌患者的家属呢，一些很好的建议希望能够提供帮助。那么今天晚上呢，我们的节目到这里算是圆满结束，谢谢大家的锁定，我们就下个星期六再见，我是詹玉珍，谢谢您的收看。